Hi, it's Don Southerton, and welcome back to this week's episode of Everything Korea. To begin, this week's topic is Working with Korean Teams, Part 1. Let's go ahead and jump right in. For most of my career, I've worked with Korean teams, many based in Korea, many in local overseas operations. I find the exchanges rewarding, but very different, and requiring a varying set of skills. Now, in part 1 of this next series of 3, I'm going to be sharing some insights into working with overseas teams assigned to local subsidiaries. Now, part 2 then will cover my recommendations and best practices for supporting these overseas teams, including workarounds to common issues that surface. For example, when department-level expats assigned to support a local team and local executives begin to assume more direct control of the day-to-day operations. Again, that's going to be in part 2. Part 3 will be looking at working with Korean teams based in Korea. So for this episode, it's going to be really giving you some background and some insights. So, to begin, we find that Korean-facing international organizations, their communication channel between the headquarters in Korea and subsidiaries is through expatriates, though it's shifting some, and I'll cover more of that in part 3. In key positions, Korean expats serve in roles including the CEO, who is responsible for managing the local company or region. The CFO and technical support can also be expats too. Now, most often these expats, along with local leadership, form the executive team and the core for the business operations in the host country. Now, by the way, expats below senior management are often referred to as executive coordinators or executive advisors. This can vary in different locations in the West. As a caveat, this model does vary some, and in some organizations we see a mix of coordinators and Koreans actually assigned as line managers. However, the Korean term for these expats in general is jujewan. Now, in larger overseas subsidiaries, the Korean expats are assigned to the major departments. So you might have one in every department throughout the company. In some, there might just be several in the whole building. In many instances, as I mentioned, these expat coordinators are not assigned a direct managerial role, but hold considerable oversight over the local operations. Now, roles vary with each company, but frequently a coordinator's primary role is to be the departmental liaison between Korea and that local subsidiary. Now, that said, for Westerners unfamiliar with the Korean model, this oversight usually translate into the Korean expats required to sign off on all decisions trivial to substantial. This can be a huge challenge when newly assigned expats have little specific background or knowledge in the host country's operations and market. Cognitively, they recognize local managerial skills and expertise, but especially if under pressure to perform and to meet the headquarters' expectations, they defer and get engaged in decision making. This, of course, can be the big challenge. New Jujewan are skilled and accomplished in Korean-style management and business operations norms and practices. However, now they are assigned to an overseas operation where the norms, practices, and expectations and laws differ. Adding to this, managing Westerners is very different than overseeing a team in Korea. All said, I do have some proven recommendations and workarounds which I'll be offering in part 2 of this program. So look forward to that in the upcoming weeks. In the meantime, I have a request. I ask you to share your experiences working with expat teams. Email me at questions@koreabcw.com. Your comments will all be kept private and confidential. Other questions, Stacy, my personal assistant, can always assist you scheduling a time for us to meet or chat or get together. So, and if there's ever an urgent matter where you really need to get a hold of me, you can always text me and I'll schedule something back with you. So, until next time, this is Don Southerton wishing you all the best. Take care.